Chapter 26, Part 2. Kenny handed me over the photo album from his lap. Summer 1984, it said on the front. Sure enough, there was the wedding day. A dozen or so pictures of everyone enjoying themselves in the park, with the two couples at centre stage. One snap was taken of Ernie and Samantha, hand in hand, dancing together. Behind them I could see the park was jam-packed. Everyone seemed to be looking and smiling at the happy couple. Kenny pointed to a picture of Artie and Mandy, and another of the four of them together. They all looked so in love. Again, a pang of jealousy and regret. Why hadn't this happened to me? And Kenny burst my thought bubble. He said, they moved into Ernie's flat in Surrey Quays for a while before finding their own place in Deptford. Samantha worked as a secretary in some solicitor's offices, and Ernie kept doing what he was doing, whatever that was. He had so many jobs. He was never out of work. They made a great pair. I don't think I ever saw them argue or fight once. They were just head over heels in love with each other. Artie and Mandy were the same. The four of them became very close. They were always doing something or going somewhere. The theatre, meals out, sporting events, day trips and holidays. They grew even closer after the accident. The accident, I said. At the cricket. We were playing at home one Sunday, Kenny said, and we were getting a right hiding from some team from Croydon. It was a cup match, I think. Anyway, Ernie was umpiring, but he was missing even more than usual. We asked him if he was all right, and he just said he had a bit of a headache. Someone threw the ball in from out the boundary, and it was heading for Ernie. We shouted his name, but it was too late. He didn't see it, and the ball smacked him right on the head, knocked him clean out. We thought it killed him at first. He just lay there, motionless. We all gathered round, wondering what the hell we should do, before he suddenly turned over and groaned. We nearly shit ourselves. The Reaper Man strikes again. It took a few minutes to come round, and he was developing a huge shiner on his eye and a lump on his forehead. Samantha decided it was best to get him checked out at the hospital, and off they went. It turned out that the black eye and the lump were the least of his worries. The doctors ran some basic checks on his eyesight, and were more than a bit concerned. It turned out that he had glaucoma, and he'd been suffering from blurred vision for some time. That probably explained some of his umpiring decisions. He needed to have an operation to try and save his sight. The optic nerve to the brain had been damaged at some point, and his eyesight had been slowly failing. I thought back over Ernie's life. What could have caused the damage? The beating he took in New York? Who knows? Did they manage to save his sight? I asked. Yeah, they did, thank God. It was touch and go for a while. Samantha was understandably distraught, and she stayed with him the whole time he was in hospital. When the doctors said he would be able to see clearly again with the help of strong glasses, she broke down in tears out of sheer relief. He told me later that she was the first person he had seen when they took the bandages off, and he swore that he would never let her out of his sight again. It was the end of his umpiring career. It was the end of the end of the cricket for us lot by then too. The park was in a terrible state, and it was proving harder and harder to field a team. The equipment was repeatedly stolen or vandalised, and we couldn't afford to replace it. It was the end of an era for us. I'm pleased to see the club is going strong again now, and a new generation have breathed some life back into it. Ours were good days. Priceless. Did you keep in touch with him? I asked. Like I said, a lot of us are still in contact. We meet up and chat on the phone. I gradually lost touch with Ernie and Artie when they moved out of London. We wrote for a while, but you know how it is. You keep promising to call, but other things get in the way. I did go down to stay with them for a couple of holidays, but after that we just drifted apart, sadly. I asked him if he still had the address they moved to, and he picked up another scrapbook and rooted through a few pages. Here we are. This is it. I still have a few postcards. 1989 was one, 1991 another. Weymouth. There should be an address too. Hold on. There you are. Numbers 1 and 3, Avalanche Road, Southwell, Isle of Portland, Dorset. They bought the houses side by side. Ernie and Sam in number one and Artie and Mandy next door. Lovely little place. Well off the beaten track, if I remember rightly. They were all very happy there. I thought, 1991. Ernie would have been 61 then. Samantha in her 50s. I asked him again, what were they doing in Dorset? Do you know where they were working? Kenny stopped for a moment. Artie's painting and decorating business really took off. He managed to get some good contacts and was making good money. One of those contacts was a building firm who were throwing up new housing estates all over the south coast. They wanted Artie to take on the contract for the Weymouth and Portland developments. It was a huge job for a small company, but he was keen. The four of them often talked about settling on the south coast, and this was their chance. Ernie had been helping Artie out for a while, and it made logical sense to work together. Artie was very good at his job, and he trained Ernie to be, despite the problems he had with his eyesight. Artie was the boss, and that suited Ernie just fine. They got on really well, and it was never an issue. The money was rolling in for them. I don't think they'd ever been so well off. They were living quite comfortably when I went down to visit. Artie had even taken on more staff. The business was booming. I was delighted for them, I really was. They deserved it. Do you remember the name of the company? I asked him. Artie Painter, painter and decorator. See? Nickname stick, I told you, didn't I? I smiled at Kenny, and he laughed back. I think that's about all I can offer you, Paul. I hope I've been some use to you. I have enjoyed our chat. It's been good to reminisce. If you get stuck and need any more help, you have my number. Let me know what you find out. Maybe it isn't too late to make contact again. And if you're ever in South Bermondsey, you're welcome to come for a drink or join me down the den. Just bring your own fucking biscuits next time. I promised I would. Call and visit. And I meant it too. I now had a lot of very good information. An address, a business name, and the name of four people together, not just one. Lots to go on. I was also up to 1991. 28 years to go. I'm getting closer. I need to formulate another plan. I'll go home this evening if I can get a train and write to Mr. Green with the latest news. He's happy for me to do so, and I'm sure he will be. I'll make plans to go to Dorset later in the month. The sooner the better, really. Once I get the green light to proceed, I'll give Mum a call now. If she's free tomorrow, I'll take her for a slap-up meal. She's certainly earned it.